Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, it is really my pleasure and honor to be here representing the U.S. Agency for International Development and the U.S. Global Hunger Initiative, which we call Feed the Future. I'm also very delighted to be joining the Millennium Challenge Corporation and the government of Zambia as we celebrate the strengthening of the new partnership between our two governments. Just 2 weeks ago, the Millennium Challenge Corporation and the government of Zambia, represented by His Excellency President Hichilema, officially signed a $491 million farm-to-market compact in Lusaka. Today, here in Iowa at this World Food Prize, amidst this distinguished gathering of political leaders, scientists, business leaders, civil society, and others, we are again celebrating this agricultural partnership. You will hear this morning from the Millennium Challenge Corporation CEO, Alice Albright, who also happens to be not only a colleague, but a former classmate. She will be followed by remarks from Zambian Minister of Agriculture, the Honorable Reuben Phiri Mtolo. This will be followed by a gift exchange and a photo opportunity, and then I'll rejoin you to offer some closing remarks and some exciting announcements, including some new lines of research that USAID will be doing with American universities. While she could not join us, I want to also acknowledge and thank Senator Joni Ernst, who has been a tireless advocate for Iowa's farmers and a national security leader who recognizes the importance of addressing global hunger to advance prosperity and stability both at home and abroad. I also want to acknowledge Justin Vandehoff and John Hollenrake, who send her regards and are representing here on her behalf. And I finally want to give a special thanks to Michelle and the World Food Prize collaborators who have been such gracious hosts and organizers of this event. And now with this, I would like to open the session by sharing with you a short video recap of the official Compact event in Lusaka.
In this particular compact, I think we have $458 million coming from the U.S. Millennium Challenge Corporation, and close to $33 million thereabout coming from you, the Zambian taxpayers.
Because, of course, when you look at some of the fundamentals, I mean, Zambia really has huge untapped potential in agriculture to not only provide more and more nutritious food to people here, but to become a bit of a producer and a breadbasket for the region. And of course, so badly needed given what is the drought here and how many people need better nutrition.
Please welcome Alice Albright, Chief Executive Officer of the Millennium Challenge Corporation.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Well, good morning. Good morning, World Food Prize folks. Dina, Minister, it's just wonderful to be here with all of you. Dina, thank you for that wonderful opening. Yes, Dina and I were in college together many moons ago. We won't talk about how many. But it's wonderful to see you, and Minister, wonderful to be with you here as well. It's wonderful to be here representing MCC alongside our dear sister U.S. government agency, USAID, and of course, the government of Zambia. Surprisingly, this is my very first time at the World Food Prize, which I don't quite understand, but I now see why this event is such a big deal, and I hope I get to come in the future. But it's wonderful bringing together organizations and ministries from around the globe that are all fighting to enhance food security. Dr. Borlaug's vision, indeed, is an inspiration to all of us. So Dina's just touched on some of the U.S. government's work in this area. And MCC, Millennium Challenge Corporation, my organization, is so proud to be a part of our government's overall efforts to improve food security. So how does MCC fit in? We are one of the agencies in the U.S. government's development toolkit. Our mandate is uniquely focused on economic development, specifically to reduce poverty through economic growth. We were started 20 years ago by President Bush, and in the time since, we've built up quite a track record. We've invested over $17 billion in 80 programs across 48 countries, and we've helped 400 million people. We've accomplished this by making transformational investments that seek to overcome barriers to economic growth on what we call a systems level and in an integrated way, including everything from infrastructure to policy reform to unlocking opportunities to encourage finance. We have an eligibility framework that is very selective, and we provide grant financing, not loans. So you can see that while we don't work everywhere, where we do work, we go big, and our larger grants are often in the hundreds of millions of dollars. Now, we all know in this room and online that economic growth depends on adequate nutrition. The linkages are very clear. Think about avoiding stunting, creating livelihoods and jobs, and building communities. Nutrition is foundational, especially when we consider that globally, nearly 150 million children, most of whom live in the countries where MCC works, face nutritional stunting and cognitive underdevelopment, which cost the global economy a whopping $3 trillion a year. Big numbers. MCC begins by working hand in hand with countries to identify what we call key barriers to growth, which often are related to farming and food production. That is why 40% of MCC's investments to date are related to food security. Here, we've invested $7 billion in 38 programs across 31 countries in multiple areas that enhance food security. We make investments that finance the vital farm-to-market infrastructure, create jobs, raise incomes, and boost nutrition. All told, MCC's investments have resulted in nearly $100 million of agricultural and rural loans, over 300,000 entities gaining formalized land rights, and over 3,000 kilometers of roads. And we looked it up, and it's approximately the distance between Des Moines and Mexico City, a lot of roads. Let me give you an example. So we started, someone's gonna clap on that, that's good. Lots of roads. So we started to work with Morocco in 2008, and over the following years, we embarked on a total of $1 billion worth of investments, 300 million of which was exclusively related to agriculture, investing in fruit trees, fisheries, employment, and land. Our programs overall integrated reforms, infrastructure, and financing. Land titling, for example, is a particular challenge in Morocco. Many of the titles are customary, and women, as a result, are at a particular disadvantage. By focusing on policy reform, though, MCC was able to secure formal land titles to 56,000 hectares of land, an area that's more than twice the size of where I live in Washington, D.C. Now, Moroccan women comprise over 40% of land title holders, but had the legal reforms not been adopted, fewer than 1% of land title holders would have been women. We're now looking to take a similar approach in working with our most recent friend, the government of Zambia. In fact, the week before last in Lusaka, we signed a significant compact with Zambia that totals nearly $500 million, $491 million to be precise, with MCC contributing $458 million and Zambia contributing another $33 million. This builds on MCC's, it's a big number, MCC's long-standing relationship with Zambia that has already featured critical work in the water and sanitation sector, where MCC has already invested $350 million. And we are so grateful to be joined today by His Excellency Minister Mtolo, Zambia's Minister of Agriculture, to help celebrate the signing of this new compact, a significant new chapter in MCC's overall relationship with Zambia. The compact is entitled the Farm to Market Compact. The potential for small, medium, and commercial-scale agriculture in Zambia is huge, but many say untapped, given the business environment, difficulty in accessing credit, and challenges in getting goods to market. This compact will help realize this potential by lowering the cost of transporting goods to market, increasing the availability of equipment for farmers and processors, boosting financing for infrastructure projects, and catalyzing reforms in the agriculture sector. So how are we going to do all of that? The most visible piece will undoubtedly be the 338 kilometers of roads that will be improved in critical agriculture corridors. For a visual, that's the distance between here and Sioux City. At the same time, we also know that there are a number of factors that limit the potential for agriculture in Zambia. The business environment is constrained, and the private sector often has difficulty accessing credit. As one member of the private sector put it to me 2 weeks ago, investments will follow when the policies are right. So, in addition to the roads, the compact involves some key policy reforms which represent a rare opportunity to address some of the constraints that make it hard for businesses to invest. These policy reforms, coupled with grants to incentivize lending, promise to be game changers in creating the right enabling environment for the private sector to get involved, engage, and thrive. Our work in Zambia is a great example of how MCC focuses on the basic building blocks for economic growth. Often, in working with our country partners, we find that the barriers to economic growth are complex and involve issues to do with infrastructure, policy reform, and access to financing, just to name a few. So, at MCC, we take the long view, a systems-based approach, as we have in Zambia, in a way that creates lasting, structural, and sustainable change. At the heart of all of this is a simple message. Food and nutrition security are central to so many of the challenges we face in seeking to catalyze economic growth. Just a few weeks ago, Feed the Future launched an accelerator program of which Zambia is a part. Dina spoke about it. At the launch event, our National Security Advisor, our USAID administrator, several members of Congress, all talked about how food and nutrition security is national security. Putting food on plates matters here at home and abroad. It nourishes our people and our partners, it creates stability, and it fuels jobs. So, we've laid the groundwork to create positive momentum to feed the future. And now, the hard work continues. MCC is so proud to be playing an important role in Feed the Future and remains committed to implementing the challenging but much-needed reforms to fully realize the promise of our overall food security efforts. We're so excited to start another successful chapter in the U.S. government's relationship with Zambia and look forward to similar work with our other partners at MCC. Let's roll our sleeves up and get started. Thank you.
Please welcome the Honorable Reuben Mtolo, Minister of Agriculture of the Republic of Zambia.
Thank you very much, all of us who are here this morning to come and share with us the interventions which, as a country, we are putting in place to facilitate private sector engagement, participation in the development of our country. Let me start by thanking Her Excellency, Madam Albright, who was here to give, I think, the opening position to set a flow for what we are here for this morning. Let me take this opportunity also to thank the great people of this great country, the United States of America, for all that it is doing for the good of mankind in our current state in this world. America has been a great friend to the Republic of Zambia since independence of the country. For those who might not know, Zambia is actually today exactly 60 years and 8 days. 60 years and 8 days on the dot. And thank you. For all this period, America has been a great companion towards development and other areas of human endeavor. We are grateful. We are absolutely grateful for this particular initiative called Feed the Future, I think, which has been very well defined here. Now, what has America done for Zambia? It is not only in agriculture. We have had great help in health, great support in education, and other areas of human and social need. But let me be very specific to the MCC, which Her Excellency leads as Chief Executive of the Millennium Challenge. A couple of years ago, the MCC signed the first compact with the Republic of Zambia. And this focused on water, sanitation, and drainage. Let me just put this into context. Lusaka is the capital city of Zambia, and it has about 3.5 to 4.5 million inhabitants. The sewage system wasn't what you would really want. Where the sewage was collecting, we needed to upgrade it because there was intervention from the folks around to go and use the area near the sewage ponds for cultivation of vegetables and things like that. Completely unacceptable. It was a very big problem for our country. Along came the MCC. The MCC programs are driven by the country itself. And in this case, Zambia, one of the compacts that it chose, one of the areas that it chose to develop was the sewage system. I can assure you, if you go there today and see what is there, you might actually think you are approaching a place of recreation. The sewage ponds were properly done, fixed, very clean, fenced off, very little intervention with the public in terms of the mischief that we had for people to start cultivating near. And we are very, very thankful. That's just the type of activity that the MCC does in different countries which have benefited. Zambia, of which is one, and we are happy today, and I'll join you in celebrating Zambia's happiness that we just signed a couple of days ago another compact, which is, as was said, for $391 million. Now, this particular compact is going to support us in, as said, specific in agriculture. And that is the reason why I had to take not less than 15 hours to come and join in and say thank you to the people of America and say thank you to the MCC and to come and talk to you. Zambia is very far away. We take 6 hours first to drive from Zambia, to fly from Zambia to what I used, Emirates, to Dubai, and another 15 hours to come here. Now, why is it so? One, we are going to have a total of 338 kilometers of road fixed. I come from the eastern part of Zambia, and to give you an idea, that's where you have Malawi, somewhere we border with Malawi, Mozambique. Now, we have a very productive, we are an agricultural area in that province. All we do is agriculture, that's what we know. So we have a very productive area, for those who have been to Zambia, called Lundazi. Now, the road between the capital city of that province, the eastern province, to Lundazi, is extremely bad. It makes life difficult, not only for non-farmers, but especially for farmers whose crop have to move. So there is infrastructure development which is going to be done there. A road of at least 22 kilometers is going to be fixed. There's another road quite close to the capital city of Zambia. Another 116 kilometers is going to be done, a total of 338, and we are so grateful. The second factor is asset financing. One of the most difficult issues, I heard the previous speaker here say, and I was also eavesdropping to the other colleagues who were speaking here, very powerful discussion they had. One of the biggest problems that we have in Africa is the issue of asset financing. In my country, we are still using hoe and human labor to cultivate. And yet this is a country with absolute immense opportunities where you can actually develop agriculture to a high level. You cannot be part and parcel of the current, agricultural practices if you're going to use hoe and human labor. So in asset financing, we are having irrigation, we are having mechanization, purchasing of tractors, etc. And because the farmers are so poor and so risky for the banks to deal with, they are going to be de-risked using this issue of asset financing. And we are so grateful for this particular aspect which the MCC is bringing. The final one is agricultural policies. I wouldn't like to go into that because I think that is easy. We are going to have changes making the environment easier for people to come and participate in agriculture by having policies which are good, genuine, and predictable, sustainable for people who come to bring their money in. One thing that is important in our country is we do not have the resources as a country. So what we want is private sector investment, foreign direct investment into agriculture. We as government are going to make sure that policies make it attractive for you colleagues to come and invest in our country. We will make sure that our policies are open and predictable. If we say Zambia is a very small country in terms of population, only 20 million, but this is a country of 75 million hectares land, of which 45 million is arable, and of which Zambia is using currently only about 7 million. So that gives you the gap. I'm inviting you to our next talk where there will be more interaction. I'll go into more specifics why you should come to invest in Zambia. For now, I just wanted to whet your appetite that there is a country which is ready for you, ready for investments, and ready to receive foreign investment so that we can up and take our normal place where we have been, and that is helping to feed the globe. Zambia, when you plant anything, it grows. Everything in Zambia grows. As I conclude, I just wanted to yet again let you know that these are not empty statements. You come to Zambia, we have blueberries, oranges, bananas, pineapples, avocado, maize, wheat, soybean, name it. If there's a place where you want to come which will give you a good return on your investment, Zambia is the place. Please come to our next engagement so that now you can hear in detail why I'm encouraging you to come to Zambia. Remember, you plant anything in Zambia, it grows, and we need you. Thank you.
Now for the ceremonial gift exchange that symbolizes the partnership between the Millennium Challenge Corporation and the government of Zambia. This exchange represents partnership and a commitment to innovation, growth, and shared success.
Thank you. For those of you who have been to Zambia, you know why our agriculture went down, because of what is reflected here, copper. We went and believed in copper. The Zambia is a mining company, a wasting asset, this copper. So we went so much into copper production and stopped producing using the soil. We are going back to the soil because I think that's the reality and that's the real thing for Zambia. So I come all the way from Zambia to remind Her Excellency Madam Albright that yes, we have this copper, but we want to tap the water and produce for Zambia, for Africa, for the region, and for the world. I thank you.
Anyway, there's my mic. Okay, it came on. Thank you. So, Minister Mtolo, Excellency, this is a replica of the agreement that we signed. This is the pen that we used, one of the pens that we used. We had many, because we had many copies. Okay. And this was a copy of the invitation that we used. So it's a replica of some of the souvenirs, the important things that we signed when we were there in Lusaka a couple of weeks ago. So we wanted to give it to you to commemorate the signing and signify how excited we are about embarking on this important set of work. So thank you. Now Dina.
Dina, what this track. Minister, on behalf of the American people, we want to thank you for the partnership, and this is a little something to remind you of your time in Iowa.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yeah. Again, huge congratulations to the government of Zambia, to MCC on this important new partnership. The compact is an important investment in its own right, but it also is just a central part of this Feed the Future Global Hunger Initiative, which is focused on reducing poverty, hunger, and malnutrition around the world. I serve as the Deputy Coordinator for Development for Feed the Future, and in this capacity, I'm pleased to share with you 3 exciting announcements. The first is that USAID and other U.S. government agencies involved in Feed the Future are joining MCC to make new and important investments in Zambia, as well as in 2 of its neighboring countries, Malawi and Tanzania. Through what we call Feed the Future Accelerator, we are doubling down on agricultural investments in these countries to advance our shared ambition of a regional trade corridor and a breadbasket that will allow Africa to not only feed itself, but to help feed the world. Last month in Washington, USAID Administrator Samantha Power announced $80 million in new investments to support this effort. And of course, MCC's new investments is a vital contribution to this very ambitious agenda. The second thing I'm pleased to announce this morning is that USAID will be investing additional funding into research to drive new innovation. More than $38 million will be going to support new or extending existing Feed the Future Innovation Labs. These labs, which engage the best minds at American universities and other U.S. institutions across 42 states and work in partnership with developing country research institutions, are vital to our efforts to meet the challenges of the moment in a rapidly changing world. More specifically, I'm pleased to announce 6 new activities. A new Feed the Future Innovation Lab for climate-resilient, sustainable intensification to be led by Kansas State University. A new innovation lab for veterinary vaccine delivery to be led by Washington State University. Cornell University will continue its research under its renewed innovation lab for crop improvement, including a new line of effort on accelerating the development of more resilient coffee varieties. The Livestock Innovation Lab at the University of Florida has been awarded a new associate award to improve poultry genomics in partnership with the University of California at Davis, the University of Ghana, and Sokoine University in Tanzania. Michigan State University will extend its work to strengthen the capacity of local research institutions to deliver high-quality research and evidence to inform decision-making and policymakers. And last but not least, Purdue University has received a renewed 5-year innovation lab focused on improving food safety, including increasing consumer demand for food. Please join me in congratulating our university partners. Finally, I am pleased to announce that the story of Feed the Future and the U.S. government's investments in the fight against global hunger are highlighted in a new report that will go public today. In its first decade, Feed the Future has seen some tremendous success, including contributing to reductions in extreme poverty, hunger, and malnutrition by 20 to 25% in the places where it works. The report highlights how in the face of unprecedented shocks these past few years, Feed the Future has pivoted and adapted, deepening investments in climate-smart research, expanding access to finance for small and medium enterprise, doing more to reduce food loss and waste and expand food fortification, and empower women and connect farmers to innovation and information so they can both diversify their crops and increase productivity in the face of global and local shocks. It shares more details on MCC's results in places like Niger and Mozambique, highlights the State Department's leadership in launching the Vision for Adapted Crops and Soils, the Development Finance Corporation's success in surpassing its agricultural investment targets, and much more. The first, It is a reflection of the United States' deep commitment to ending hunger and the extraordinary results we can achieve when we work together across U.S. agencies and in partnership with many of you here in this room. And of course, our work is not yet done. Much more investment and much more partnership is needed to accelerate and scale this progress. Feed the Future is a data-driven initiative with a unique global monitoring system, and so I leave you with a few key data highlights from the report on the screen. Together, U.S. agencies working on Feed the Future touched the lives of some 30 million people last year. We worked with more than 6 million farmers to facilitate the use of improved farming practices and technologies on more than 4 million hectares of land. We reached more than 28 million children and 11 million women with nutrition-specific interventions, and we didn't do it alone. In fiscal year 2023, Feed the Future unlocked $1.4 billion in additional agricultural finance and leveraged $677 million in private sector resources to advance this work. So I encourage all of you to pick up a hard copy or a QR code from the report at the booth outside. I know that many of you, our partners, will see yourselves in the stories there, and I want to encourage you to join us, as the Honorable Minister said, on the third floor to continue the conversation about why to invest in Zambia. So please join me again in welcoming the government, MCC, and our Innovation Lab winners. Thank you.